Our body is a truly remarkable creation. It has a fast and intricate messaging system. This system allows us to move, to feel, to see, and to hear the world around us. It is the nervous system. It works quietly in the background, keeping our body running smoothly without us thinking about it. This essay will explore some of the most vital parts of this system. We will journey through the spine, the nerves, the autonomic system, the eye, and the ear. The words here are simple. The ideas are clear. This is a guide to understanding how we connect with our environment and how our bodies keep us safe. The journey begins with the spinal cord, a great trunk line of information that connects our brain to the rest of our body. From there, we will see how nerves branch out, reaching every corner of our being. Think of it like a vast tree, with the spinal cord as its trunk and the nerves as its countless branches and twigs. Next, we will look at the autonomic system. It is the quiet, automatic manager that controls our heartbeat, our breathing, and our digestion. Let us begin our journey into the wiring that makes us who we are, starting with the backbone of our nervous system, the spine. It is a pillar of both support and communication. Let us begin. The spine is a long, flexible column of bones that protects a vital part of our nervous system. Deep inside this bony tunnel lies the spinal cord. It begins just below the brain and travels down our back, ending near the lower back, typically between the first and second lumbar vertebrae, L1, L2. The spinal cord itself is a thick bundle of nerves, the main pathway for messages between the brain and the body. If you were to look at a slice of the spinal cord, you would see two distinct types of tissue: gray matter, white matter. The arrangement is quite beautiful and wonderfully functional. The gray matter sits in the center and is shaped rather like a butterfly. This is where the processing of information happens. The back wings of this butterfly shape are called the dorsal horns. These horns receive sensory signals from the body such as touch, pain, and temperature. The front wings are the ventral horns. These horns send out motor signals, telling our muscles to move. In some parts of the cord, there are also small side horns called lateral horns. These are connected to the autonomic system, which we will explore later. The gray matter is the spinal cord's command center, making quick decisions and relaying information. Surrounding the gray matter is the white matter. This area gets its color from a fatty substance called myelin, which coats the nerve fibers. Myelin acts like the insulation on an electrical wire, allowing signals to travel very quickly. The white matter is made up of bundles of these myelinated nerve fibers, called tracts. These tracts are like highways for information. Some tracts carry signals up toward the brain. These are known as ascending tracts. Other tracts carry signals down from the brain. These are descending tracts. They carry the sensory information that the dorsal horns received and the motor commands that will be sent out from the ventral horns. The end of the spinal cord is also uniquely structured. The cord itself tapers down to a point called the conus medullaris. From this point, a very thin, delicate strand of tissue called the filum terminal extends all the way down to the tailbone. This filament acts as an anchor, securing the spinal cord in place and preventing it from drifting up and down as we move. Below the end of the spinal cord, a bundle of nerve roots continues downward through the spinal column. This bundle is called the cauda equina, a Latin term meaning horse's tail, because that is precisely what it looks like. These are the nerves that travel to our legs and pelvic organs. The spinal cord is incredibly important, so it is no surprise that it is very well protected. It is housed within the bony vertebrae, but it also has three protective layers of its own. These layers are called the meninges. The outermost layer is the dura mater. The dura mater is tough and fibrous. The middle layer is the arachnoid mater. The arachnoid mater is a delicate web-like structure. The innermost layer is the pia mater. The pia mater clings directly to the spinal cord and is very thin and rich in blood vessels. These three layers provide a strong, cushioned wrapping for the delicate nerve tissue inside. Between the arachnoid mater and the pia mater is the subarachnoid space. This space is filled with cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. CSF is also found within the hollow central canal of the spinal cord. CSF is found in the brain's ventricles. CSF is constantly produced from blood plasma. CSF serves as a shock absorber, cushioning the brain and spinal cord. It also circulates nutrients and removes waste products, helping to keep the nervous tissue healthy. The fluid contains more sodium, more magnesium, less glucose, less protein, and it has no red blood cells. From the spinal cord, nerves emerge and travel to all parts of the body. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. They exit the spinal column through small openings between the vertebrae called the intervertebral foramina. Each spinal nerve is a mixed nerve. That means it contains sensory fibers and motor fibers. Once a nerve leaves the bony protection of the spine, it becomes part of the peripheral nervous system. Each spinal nerve is formed from two roots that join together. The dorsal root brings sensory fibers into the dorsal horn of the gray matter. A noticeable feature of the dorsal root is a swelling called the dorsal root ganglion. This small bulge contains the cell bodies of the sensory neurons. Think of it as a small way station for incoming sensory messages. As the spinal nerves leave the spinal column, most of them do not travel alone. Instead, they quickly merge and braid together with other nerves to form intricate networks. These networks are called plexuses. A plexus is like a railway junction, where nerves from different spinal levels combine and then resort their fibers to form new nerves that travel to specific parts of the body. This arrangement ensures that a single body part, like an arm muscle, receives signals from more than one spinal level. This provides a safety net. If one spinal nerve is damaged, the muscle might not be completely paralyzed. There are several major plexuses in the body. The cervical plexus, located in the neck, gives rise to nerves that serve the neck, shoulders, head. One of the most important nerves from this plexus is the phrenic nerve. It travels down through the chest to control the diaphragm, the primary muscle of breathing. The brachial plexus is a large, complex network that supplies the arm, hand. It forms major nerves like the median nerve, which is crucial for controlling the wrist. Many movements of the hand. You may have heard of carpal tunnel syndrome, which involves pressure on this very nerve. Further down the body, we find the lumbar plexus and the sacral plexus. The lumbar plexus serves the front of the thigh. Leg. Its largest nerve is the femoral nerve, which controls the powerful quadriceps muscles that we use for kicking and extending our knee. The sacral plexus serves the back of the leg, buttocks, pelvic region. The most famous nerve to emerge from here is the sciatic nerve. It is the longest and widest single nerve in the human body, running from the lower back all the way down the back of the leg to the foot. It controls the hamstring muscles and muscles of the lower leg. The spinal nerves also have a very organized relationship with our skin. Each spinal nerve is responsible for carrying sensory information from a specific patch of skin. This area of skin is called a dermatome. Our nervous system can perform actions with incredible speed, often without any conscious thought from us. Really. These automatic responses are called reflexes. A reflex is a rapid, predictable, and involuntary reaction to a stimulus. It is a built-in safety mechanism that helps protect our bodies from harm. The pathway that a nerve signal follows to produce a reflex is called a reflex arc. This arc typically involves 5 components: a receptor to sense the stimulus, an afferent sensory neuron to carry the signal to the spinal cord, an interneuron in the spinal cord to process the signal, an efferent motor neuron to carry the command out, an effector, a muscle or gland, to perform the action. One of the simplest and most well-known reflexes is the stretch reflex. This reflex helps maintain our posture and balance. Inside our muscles are tiny sensors called muscle spindles, which detect when a muscle is stretched. If a muscle is stretched suddenly, the muscle spindles send a signal to the spinal cord, which immediately sends a command back to the same muscle, telling it to contract. This contraction opposes the stretch. The patellar reflex, or knee-jerk reflex, is a perfect example. When a doctor taps the patellar tendon just below the kneecap, it stretches the quadriceps muscle, triggering this reflex, and causing the lower leg to kick forward. Another vital protective reflex is the withdrawal reflex. Imagine you accidentally touch a hot stove. Before you are even consciously aware of the pain, your hand has already pulled away. Receptors in your skin detect the painful heat and send an urgent message to the spinal cord. The spinal cord immediately commands the flexor muscles in your arm to contract, pulling your hand away from the danger. Often this reflex is also contralateral. This means that as you pull one arm away, a signal is sent to the opposite side of your body to extend the other arm, helping you to keep your balance. Sometimes, a reflex can indicate the health of the nervous system. The Babinski sign is one such indicator. In infants, stroking the sole of the foot, causes the big toe to extend upward and the other toes to fan out. This is normal. However, in an adult, the normal response is for the toes to curl downward. If an adult shows a positive Babinski sign, the upward toe extension, it can be a sign of damage to the major motor pathways in the brain or spinal cord, known as the corticospinal tract. In this way, simple reflexes can provide doctors with powerful clues about the inner workings of the nervous system. Beyond the movements we choose to make, there is a whole world of activity happening inside our bodies that we never have to think about. Our heart beats, our lungs breathe, our stomach digests food. This automatic control is the work of the autonomic nervous system, or ANS. The ANS manages our internal organs, controlling smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, glands. It is the body's silent, diligent manager, working constantly to maintain a stable internal environment, a state known as homeostasis. The ANS is divided into two main branches: the sympathetic system, the parasympathetic system. The sympathetic division, the fight and flight system. It prepares the body for stressful or emergency situations. Imagine walking in the woods and suddenly encountering a bear. Your sympathetic system immediately kicks into high gear. Your heart rate increases, your airways dilate, your pupils widen. Blood is diverted away from your digestive system and sent to your large muscles to fight or run. It stimulates the adrenal glands to release adrenaline. The parasympathetic division, rest and digest. It is active when you are calm and relaxed. It conserves energy and oversees routine digestion and waste elimination. After a large meal, the parasympathetic system takes charge. It slows your heart rate. It constricts your pupils. It stimulates your stomach. It stimulates your intestines. The two systems work in a delicate balance. The sympathetic system spends energy. The parasympathetic system saves it. They use chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. Sympathetic. Short fibers from the spinal cord use acetylcholine. These connect to ganglia. Ganglia activate long postganglionic fibers that use norepinephrine on target organs. Parasympathetic. Long preganglionic fibers use acetylcholine. Postganglionic fibers are very short, near or within the target organ. They also use acetylcholine. Our nervous system not only controls our body, but also brings the outside world into our consciousness. It does this through our senses. While we have many senses, like touch and temperature, there are some that are considered special senses because they are housed in complex, dedicated organs in our head. These are sight, hearing, balance, taste, smell. They are our primary tools for navigating and understanding our environment. The cranial nerves emerge directly from the brain, not the spinal cord, and carry information from these special sense organs. The eye is perhaps our most dominant sense organ. The optic nerve, cranial nerve 2, carries visual information from the eye to the brain. The ear serves two critical functions. Hearing detects sound waves. The vestibular system provides balance and spatial orientation. The vestibulocochlear nerve, cranial nerve 8, carries both types of information. Taste and smell are our chemical senses. They detect molecules in the air we breathe and in the food we eat. The olfactory nerve, cranial nerve 1, has receptors in the roof of the nasal cavity. The olfactory pathway links directly to memory and emotion centers, which is why smells can trigger sudden powerful memories. Gustation involves several cranial nerves, including the facial nerve, cranial nerve 7, which also controls most facial expressions. Much of flavor is a combination of taste and smell. Many reflexes tie into these special senses. The pupillary light reflex is an autonomic reflex. A bright light in the eye causes the pupil to constrict. This is controlled by the oculomotor nerve, cranial nerve 3. The corneal reflex makes you blink if something touches your eye. The salivary reflex makes your mouth water at the smell or thought of food. These reflexes show how our senses are woven into automatic body functions. The human eye is an organ of incredible complexity and precision, a living camera that captures the light of the world. It is a sphere with three main layers, or tunics. The outermost layer is the fibrous tunic, the tough white sclera, the white of the eye, and the transparent cornea at the front. The cornea is the eye's main window. It bends light as it enters. The middle layer is the vascular tunic, rich in blood vessels. It includes the choroid, which nourishes the eye, and the ciliary body, which produces a fluid called aqueous humor. It contains the muscle that changes the shape of the lens. The iris is also part of this middle layer. It is the colored part of the eye, and it contains muscles that control the size of the pupil, the black opening in the center. In bright light, the iris constricts the pupil. In dim light, it dilates it. Behind the iris sits the lens, a clear, flexible structure. The ciliary muscle changes the shape of the lens to fine-tune the focus of light onto the back of the eye. This process is called accommodation. The innermost layer is the nervous tunic, which is the retina. The retina is the light-sensitive screen at the back of the eye, containing millions of photoreceptor cells. The retina contains two types of photoreceptor cells, rods and cones. Rods are extremely sensitive to light and are responsible for our vision in dim conditions, or night vision. They do not detect color. They see the world in shades of gray. Cones require brighter light and are responsible for our sharp, detailed color vision. Most of the cones are concentrated in a tiny spot in the center of the retina called the fovea. This is the point of our sharpest vision. When you look directly at something, you are focusing its image onto your fovea. Where the optic nerve leaves the eye, there are no photoreceptors, creating a blind spot. Sometimes the eye's focusing system does not work perfectly. If the eyeball is too long or the lens bends light too much, distant objects appear blurry. This is myopia, or nearsightedness. If the eyeball is too short or the lens does not bend light enough, near objects are blurry. This is hyperopia, or farsightedness. Astigmatism is caused by an irregularly shaped cornea, or lens, causing blurry vision at all distances. As people age, the lens can become cloudy, a condition called a cataract. Glaucoma is a serious condition where increased pressure inside the eye damages the optic nerve. The ear is a remarkable dual-purpose organ. It not only allows us to hear the rich tapestry of sounds around us, but also provides us with our essential sense of balance. The ear is divided into three main sections: the external ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The external ear consists of the auricle, the visible part on the side of your head, and the ear canal. The auricle acts like a funnel, collecting sound waves and directing them down the ear canal to the tympanic membrane, the eardrum. The eardrum is a thin membrane that vibrates when sound waves strike it. These vibrations are then passed to the middle ear, a small, air-filled cavity. Inside the middle ear are the three smallest bones in the human body, called the ossicles. They are the malleus, the hammer, the incus, the anvil, and the stapes, the stirrup. These bones form a tiny lever system that amplifies the vibrations and transmits them to the inner ear. The middle ear is connected to the back of the throat by the auditory tube, or eustachian tube, which helps to equalize air pressure on both sides of the eardrum, something you might notice when you yawn or swallow on an airplane. The inner ear is a maze of fluid-filled chambers deep within the skull. It contains the organs for both hearing and balance. For hearing, the key structure is the cochlea, a spiral-shaped tube that looks like a snail's shell. When the stapes bone vibrates, it creates waves in the fluid inside the cochlea. Within the cochlea is the organ of Corti, which contains thousands of tiny hair cells. As the fluid waves move through the cochlea, they bend these delicate hair cells. This bending motion triggers a nerve signal, which is sent to the brain along the vestibulocochlear nerve. The brain then interprets these signals as sound. The inner ear also contains the vestibular system, responsible for balance. This system includes the vestibule, semicircular canal 1, semicircular canal 2, semicircular canal 3. These structures detect changes in the position and movement of your head. When you tilt your head or turn, the fluid inside these canals moves, bending another set of hair cells. These signals tell your brain about your body's orientation in space, allowing you to maintain your balance. Damage to the ear can lead to deafness. Conduction deafness occurs when sound cannot be effectively transmitted through the external or middle ear. Sensorineural deafness results from damage to the cochlea, the hair cells, or the auditory nerve itself. Each part, the spine, the nerves, the autonomic system, the eye, and the ear, plays a crucial role in our daily survival and experience of life. Understanding them helps us appreciate our body's complexity. This review is calm and friendly. We will use real-world examples and small stories to make concepts easier to grasp. We will define important terms as we go. You will find short quizzes to check your understanding along the way. The goal is to make learning feel less like a chore and more like a discovery. Let us begin our journey into the wiring that makes us who we are.